the study. Today I have some cricket equipment and a book. So I thought I would show you some of the equipment and some of the nice sounds. I'll also read to you a little from an article by the famous cricket writer Peter Roebuck, and we'll look at some pictures in the book of cricket from the badminton library and go over some fielding positions. So you'll have lots of soft sounds to put you to sleep, or to take time out of your busy day and to relax. We'll start with a cricket bat. This is a very heavy bat, and you can see it's very thick on the bottom, and it has seen a lot of use. It is made out of willow wood and has what looks like a boat keel in the middle to give it some strength. It's very heavily lacquered. And the grip is rubber over the wood. So there's some string wrapped around the wood. And a rubber grip is put over that string. And it's extremely heavy. This is a cricket ball. It's actually a practice ball because it's rubber and bouncy. A real cricket ball is made of cork center wrapped with string and two pieces of leather that go on each half, and they're stitched together with white laces. And the ball is very heavily lacquered with red lacquer. These are some batting gloves. They're right-handed batting gloves, as you can see, because the right hand has a lot of padding on the thumb, which is the hand that's going to be exposed to being hit by the ball. Each finger has a leather pad covering it, and the back of the hand has leather as well. And there's a Velcro closure. The inside grip is suede and the thumb is cotton knit. Library of Cricket. This book was originally published in 1888. The Badminton Library of Sports and Pastime, edited by His Grace the Duke of Beaufort, Knight of the Garter, assisted by Alfred E.T. Watson. And here we have some engravings of cricketers from the very late 19th century. This edition was republished in 1987 with an introductory note in 1985 by the 11th Duke of Beaufort. My great-great-grandfather, the 8th Duke of Beaufort, was always proud to say that he had been instrumental in bringing about one of the great sporting achievements of this century. I commend the Badminton Library to a new generation of sportsmen and women. Hopefully, they will gain as much pleasure from reading these volumes as I have, and undoubtedly, they will increase their abilities by listening to the great mass of advice and anecdotes offered by such an esteemed selection of our great sporting forebears. Badminton, June 1888, dedication to His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. Beaufort. Preface. A few lines only are necessary to explain the object with which these volumes are put forth. There is no modern encyclopedia to which the inexperienced man who seeks guidance in the practice of the various British sports and pastimes can turn for information. The Badminton Library is offered to supply the want. And the contents of this book: the history of cricket, batting, bowling, captaincy, umpires, fielding, country cricket, border cricket, how to score, and receiving their very own chapter, the Australians. The University Cricket Match, Gentlemen and Players, the Art of Training Young Cricketers, Single Wicket, Outfit and Cricket Reform. And just looking at the titles of the list of illustrations, you can see how a lot of cricket jargon has made its way into our everyday language. Caught and bowled, a young cricketer, Royal Academy Club, caught at the wicket, run out. Half cock or over the crease play, gun cutting, sweep to leg, square leg hit, forcing stroke off the legs, off drive, running out, leg break, slow ball, fast ball, hot return. A wicket. Point. Hit for 6. And there are many more. And there you can see a very early cricket bat. 18th century. And the wicket or the stumps. Let's look at a few of the illustrations. There is another early game of cricket. You can see that the bat is very funny. Some countries these days have their own form of cricket, notably Samoa. Cricket developed from the game of rounders, as did baseball, so they share a common ancestor. And you can see all of these 19th century cricketers with their box beards and handlebar moustache. And there's the wicket that they're defending. A wicket being 3 stumps and 2 wooden pails that are balanced on them, that the bowler is trying to hit with the ball. The batsman here, who's wearing his leg pads and gloves, is trying to defend these stumps or the wicket by hitting the ball away from them. Once that stumps and pails are broken, when the ball hits it, the batsman is out. There are stumps at either end of the cricket pitch, and 1 batsman on each side. The bowler bowls 5 balls at the wicket, and then the bowler on the other side has a turn. When the batsman hits the ball away from the wicket, the 2 batsmen, the partners, run across the pitch, and each time they cross is counted as a run. Some matches have hundreds of runs per side, and they play until all the players are out, all the batsmen, and then they change over from fielding to batting, batting to fielding. And here are some of the bowling positions, they're the fielding positions, where the ball is hit rather than the fielding. The bowler is standing here and the wicket keeper there. This is point, the batsman there, a short slip behind him, mid-off, deep mid-off, deep mid-on, mid-on, long leg. The bowler is not allowed to have his foot over the crease or the line that is about a meter from the wicket. Neither is the batsman allowed to go over that crease when he's batting. Here we have a nice country scene with some children playing cricket in a park. some of the famous cricketers. On the Australian side, W.G. Grace being among them, most famous in the 19th century. Let's have a look at some fielding positions. This is the field of play, and there's usually a rope, a white rope around, beyond which, if the ball flies over, it scores 6. If it rolls and hits the rope, it scores 4. There is the pitch, and there will be stumps or a wicket on either side, on either end. So the striker or the batsman who's hitting is on that end, and the non-striker, the batsman who's on the bowling side, is there. That means the ball is coming from this direction. And these are all of the positions that the fielding team can take. The wicket keeper to catch the ball, and slips. So if you know you're going to have a batsman hitting very short, high balls, they can fill the slips, put a lot of players there to catch it. And just here is the gully. Farther back, if this is a right-handed batsman, over his right shoulder will be the fly slip. And the short third man, backward point. So just over his shoulder, the point and deep backward point. And the third man. On the other side of the batsman is his leg side. So this will be, if he's right-handed, his right shoulder there, his left shoulder facing the batsman. So behind him, deep fine leg, long leg, deep square leg, backward square leg, fine leg or short leg, leg gully, leg slip. Along the pitch we have silly point, silly mid-off, silly mid-on, and mid-wicket, mid-on, mid-off, and then the covers, cover, extra cover, deep cover, deep extra cover, long stop in the back, long on, long off, straight hit, cow corner, deep mid-wicket, mid-wicket. So if you're listening to cricket on the radio or reading a write-up of a game, usually a test match is the best, or county cricket. In Australia's state cricket, you'll be able to tell what was happening. Let's have a look at an article that was published in the Sydney Morning Herald, written by one of the great cricket writers, Peter Roebuck, who had a very sad end to his life in South Africa. But his writing is quite beautiful for sports. This one is about a state match that happened in Sydney and was published on the 3rd of February 2003. Steve Adams seemed at home among the picnickers at Drummoyne Oval, a natural amphitheatre set in one of those inner city suburbs that line the mighty Parramatta River. Outside the ground, yachts drifted along the river, their occupants appreciating the laughter of a Sunday afternoon. Inside, locals brought chairs and hampers and sat quietly on the browning slopes that rolled gently into the field of play. And here I'll show you a picture of just such a match, except this one is quite obviously taking place on a Sunday afternoon in England. And you see the families picnicking, the dogs sleeping, the children playing. Families sought the blessed relief of the figs and gums, and their children dashed around with painted faces, while the men in light blue played their strokes. Throughout, there was a timelessness about the day, as a community enjoyed the appearance on its paddock of their favourite sons. New South Wales lost a couple of early wickets as Michael Slater's bad patch continued and Corey Richards failed to justify his lofty position in a curiously constructed order. Hereabouts, the youngsters in the old-fashioned scoreboard had gloomy work to carry out. Salvation was at hand. Waugh, the slightly older, walked out with a spring in his step, as if recalling juvenile battles fought in this very arena. He looked slim and fit, and his feet were moving swiftly into position. Not that batting was easy against accurate attack, well served by Damien Wright, whose faith also trod these boards, and Adam Griffith, a powerfully built bolter from Launceston who keeps a length and moves the ball about. Warming to his task and clearly enjoying breathing the air of simplicity, Waugh starting placing the ball, throw the cover, and tucking it off the pads. Support was needed, and Michael Clark provided it with vigorous driving played with relish and a straight bat. Gradually, the innings gathered momentum, with the veteran and the apprentice matching strokes without ever stooping to competition. Inevitable thoughts arose about forthcoming events in Africa and the faith shown in less convincing cricketers. Waugh eased the path for his youthful comrade, muttering words of sage advice through teeth so gritted he might have been in a dentist waiting room. His partner listened respectfully, but words seldom linger long in the minds of the young and energetic. As required in these engagements, both batsmen put progress before safety. Waugh bent down to play a stroke that, from a butcher, baker, candlestick maker, might have been called a swipe, and looked relieved and mildly surprised as the ball rose steeply, gathered wings, and dropped over the boundary. Clark continued to try to pull anything landing a fraction short, a shot that often brings him down because he plays it off the front. Eventually, the stroke was his undoing, whereupon the culprit cursed himself somewhat in the manner of Joel Garner, who, returning to the pavilion after a brief contribution, announced that he was done swiping. Nonetheless, Clark should be in Africa. Mark Waugh joined his brother, and again the memory recalled watching this same pair dispatching schoolboy bowling all those summers ago. Neither man has changed much during the years. Steve still bent over his bat, sniffing the ball suspiciously before settling into defense, erupting into violence. Mark breezed along, playing handsome strokes through point and glides pads off his legs. These twins belong to the Australian school of batsmanship that requires adherents to stand still and use their bats and not their pads. Waugh the younger played a lovely innings, only to lose his wicket carelessly, lifting a full toss to a fieldsman. Brad Haddon came, made merry, and departed as the visitors persisted. At last Simon Cattich emerged, a strong cricketer whose gifts deserve more vigorous exploration. His partner welcomed him with a drive that resembled a shot from a rifle, and several clouts to leg that landed among butterfingered spectators. Steve Waugh reached 3 figures, hung his head like a scolded child, and swiftly departed as a tempter was met with a crossed bat. A warm ovation accompanied him from the field, upon which Archie Jackson played so many glorious innings, and towards the new pavilion that was replaced the cramped underground rooms in which long ago Johnny Gleason took a last puff before mesmerizing his opponents. Those were the days of whites and linseed oil and spigs. They didn't wear white in cricket anymore in the 80s. They started wearing colored clothing. But in England county cricket they still wear whites. Linseed oil being one of the oils for the bat and ball. By returning to a local club with a rich history, cricket went in search of its roots. By playing in a small, neighborly ground, the game found its supporters. This was warm and informal day that improved as the afternoon went along, and Tasmanian wickets started to tumble. Waugh crafted 100, and Cattich took wickets with his Chinaman, and Stuart McGill bowled a crucial spell as sandwiches were demolished. It might have been 1935 or 1965. It was February 2nd, 2003, a day that will live long in the memory of Balmain Cricket Club. So this was a beautiful article written by the eloquent Peter Roebuck about Australian state cricket, New South Wales being a team that wore light blue color and playing against Tasmania. I hope you've enjoyed this little foray into the world of cricket. I hope you've enjoyed the sounds and that you're nice and relaxed. Remember to be good to yourself. Be kind to others.